Okay, so today we are going to graph quadratic inequalities. We've done quadratics before and we've done inequalities, so we're just going to put them together. The very first thing I'm going to do is type the first equation in y equals. Okay, it's already in y equals form, so it's fine, and I'm going to look at the table. Okay, I need to find, if I look at the graph, I need to find points that I could plot so I can see both sides from the vertex. So if I look where it starts repeating, I have -4, -3, -4, -3. So those where it repeats. -2, -1, 0. So -3, -4, -3. So now I can plot my parabola. So if we graph this, -2, -3, -1, -4, and 0, -3. Okay. Now if we look, this is greater than, so it is a dashed, and we're shading above. So my parabola is a dashed parabola, and I'm going to shade above, so that means where my y values are greater is within this part. Okay. Then here, if I graph this, again, you can plug it in y equals and find the table, or you can graph it by hand, because you should know how to. Here's your y-intercept is 4. So I'm going to start at 4, and the slope is 1. So I'm going to go up 1 over 1. And again, it's a dashed line. And this time I'm going to shade below. So dashed line, and I'm shading below. So if we look for this parabola, shading above is basically inside the parabola. And then this line here below, so this is the overlapped part. So there is your system of quadratic inequality. Okay, so that one is done. Now, the next one, I'm going to change this real quick to be that sign. So in order to do this, we need to solve for y. So if I look at the linear one first, solve for y, I'm going to subtract 2x, and then divide by 6. So -2, 6 reduces to -1/3, and 12 divided by 6 reduces to 2. Okay, it's going to be a solid line because it's less than or equal to, and it's going to be shaded below because it's less than. Okay, then if we go to the next one, and I solve for y, I'm going to subtract x squared, and then divide by -1. Remember, when you divide by negative, it flips the inequality sign. So divide each of those by negative. Okay, so now let's again graph. So I'm going to use a table for here. Go to clear this, x squared minus 2. Go to the table. Where do my numbers repeat? Here we go. So -1, 0, 1, and it's -1, -2, -1. Alright, so if we graph those, and this time it's a solid parabola. Okay. Then here, I'm going to start at 2, and I'm going to go down 1 over 3. Oh, ignore that point. And again, it's a solid line. Okay, so here I'm shading below this line, and on this one, if we look here, it's solid and it's also below. So I'm shading below the parabola. So that would be all of this space. Alright, so that would be the answer for that. Alright, now in this case, we're going to write the system. So I want to go from this graph to something like this. More like this, because it's already going to be in y form. Alright, so the very first thing is we need to find points, and we're going to do the quadratic regression, so where we put them in the list and find the equation that way. So my suggestion is find the vertex of the quadratic. So this one would be -1, -1, and then 2 other points. So just do the points on both sides. So that would be -2, 3, and then 0, 3. Okay, so if we plug those into the list, so I'm going to go to Stat, Edit. So I'm going to have -1, -2, and 0. and then negative 1, 3, and 3. 3 and 3. Alright, go back to stat, over to calc, and I'm going to do quadratic regression because that's the kind of equation I want. So when I do that, I get 4x squared plus 8x plus 3. So that's the equation, and if we look, it's shaded above the parabola, so it's going to be greater than or equal to, because it's a solid parabola. And there we go. Now, the linear, we can do that same way by finding the points, or you can just start off by saying the y-intercept is 2, and the slope is up 1 over 3, and it is shaded below, so less than or equal to. So there's your system right there. The other thing, you could do the same thing, find 3 points on here, plug it in. So if we did that, I would have negative 3, 1, 0, 2, and 3, 3. So I've plugged those in the list. I would have negative 3, 0, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Stat, calc, and this time I would do linear regression because I want the equation for the line. And I would get 0.333, which is the 1/3 plus 2. Okay, so either way works. If you can go straight from the graph to it, it makes it a little bit faster. So my system would be y greater than or equal to 4x squared plus 8x plus 3, and y less than or equal to 1/3 x plus 2. Alright, so there's that. So then you're going to use that same idea from this one to get the answer from here. And if you look at these answer choices, they're not in y equals form, so you're going to have to do that. I suggest finding what the system is to this first. So find these first. And then after you find those, you can start solving and see which one matches up. I'm not going to solve that one on here, but I'm just going to let you know that the answer is C, so that if you want to go back and figure that out, you can. Please let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.